Hello and welcome tonight. INEC extends deadline for parties to upload 2027 governorship and state assemblies candidates, moving submission deadline from August the 8th to August the 11th. The All Progressives Congress and Accord Party trade fierce accusations over political violence and member intimidation as tension escalates ahead of the Osun governorship election. Medical geologist Professor Ngabu Kutso attributes occasional Abuja earth tremors to uncontrolled borehole drilling, heavy rock blasting, and rapid infrastructure expansion within the nation's capital. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejects Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza plan, insisting Israeli forces will not withdraw until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. Nigeria's electoral umpire INEC has extended the deadline for political parties to upload their governorship and state houses of assembly candidates for the 2027 general elections. The deadline, initially set for Saturday, August the 8th, has now been moved to Tuesday, August the 11th this year, following appeals from political parties for more time to complete their submissions. Meanwhile, voters who applied for replacements of lost or damaged or even defaced PVCs have until midnight, August the 10th, which is a Monday, to download their replacement cards. INEC says the deadline will enable it finalize figures ahead of the August 15th Osun governorship election. The Commission also confirms that replacement downloadable PVCs are available for affected voters in Odotin and Ife Central, following the theft of cards from the collection centers. INEC says the stolen PVCs cannot be used to vote and assures Osun voters of a free, fair, credible, and inclusive election come August the 15th. Now, two political parties contesting the Osun State governorship election are trading accusations of violence and intimidation involving their members and supporters. The latest incident occurred in Ilesha during a ward rally organized by the All Progressives Congress, the APC. Addressing journalists in Oshogbo, the Director of Media and Publicity of the APC Campaign Council, Oluremi Omoaye, alleged that the Chief Whip of the State House of Assembly, Adewale Akirele, accompanied by Amotekun Corps personnel, opened fire on the people. Mr. Omoaye claims that 4 people were hit by gunfire, including a teenager who was inside his mother's shop.
This time from Omofe, and it was supposed to end at the party secretariat. Ward 4 and 5. We have 10 wards in Ilesha West. But to our surprise, the chief whip of the Osun State House of Assembly, Adewale Akirele, popularly called Water, drove past and shot into the air. People scrambled for safety. As if that was not enough, he went and he came back with the Amotekun Corps members, and they started shooting at people, and that caused scrambles. We are going to make video evidence available to you, and in the process, about 4 people were shot. And it's so sad that an innocent young boy that was in his mother's shop was shot. When we got the information and we were all scrambling for safety, we were told they took him to one local hospital. So I personally led the team that evacuated the young boy called Toby Lesomi to Wesley Gee.
Meanwhile, the Accord Party also addressed journalists over the Ilesha violence. The spokesperson of the Mole Campaign Council, Pelumi Olajengbesi, accused the Nigeria police of unlawfully arresting party members. He also alleges that the State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Mayowa Anjorin, was arrested by the police and remains in detention.
There's a need for us to have a credible, free and fair election in Osun State. For us to have a credible, free, fair election in Osun State, it is important that citizens of Osun State should be allowed to exercise their political will without intimidation and oppression. Our members are being arrested, and as I address the press today, about 62 members of our Accord Party are in different detention across the country. This is logic turned upside down. This is not democracy. And we must not allow this to continue. We are calling on the Inspector General of Police to release all the people that have been arrested for no reason and ensure that we have a free, credible election in Osun State.
Staying with our politics in Osun, and the APC governorship candidate in the state, Bola Oyebamiji, says his administration will prioritize youth empowerment through innovative and entrepreneurial programs. Mr. Oyebamiji, who made the commitment while addressing young people at an interactive session in Osogbo, the state capital, says the initiatives will create opportunities for youth to develop their skills, pursue entrepreneurship, and contribute meaningfully to the economic development of Osun State.
Youths from across the 30 local government areas of Osun State turn out in large numbers, filling this auditorium to connect directly with the APC governorship candidate Bola Oyebamiji. The interactive session offered young citizens a platform to lay out their core demands while hearing firsthand how the candidate intends to address their future. Taking center stage, Oyebamiji reassured the gathering that he recognizes their daily struggles and is ready with practical solutions. He unveiled a comprehensive strategic blueprint spanning job creation, skill acquisition, digital technology, agribusiness, and the creative sector.
As an individual, I know their challenges and I know the solutions to them. Under my leadership, Osun will experience a new era. We will work for you and make you happy.
Reinforcing this commitment is running mate Kayode Adereti, himself a representative of the youth constituency, pledged that an Oyebamiji administration will integrate students and young professionals into the heart of state development and decision-making.
We are going to empower the youth. The youth are going to be trained. And when the youth are trained, what happens? The youth are empowered. Because knowledge is very important. And I can assure you that the administration of Asiwaju Munurudin Bola Oyebamiji is going to build, is going to increase human capacity.
Prominent party figures, including Ayodele Asalu, chairman of the Directorate of Youth, Students and Civil Societies for the APC Campaign Council, alongside former state lawmaker Lekan Olatuji, also addressed the gathering.
When citizens understand the programs and the priorities of those seeking public office, elections becomes contest of ideas, capacity and vision, rather than simply slogans and sentiments.
The manifesto was developed and designed with the youth being involved. We can no longer continue to design programs and policy for the young persons. They must also be part of the process of development, the execution, as well as the monitoring and evaluation of the programs and policy.
The engagement provided a crucial platform for the APC flag bearer to showcase a 7-point development agenda for Osun State, a vision built on poverty alleviation, job creation, youth and women empowerment, agricultural revitalization, quality healthcare, infrastructure renewal, and cultural tourism.
Taraba State Governor Agbu Kefes has confirmed the APC Deputy National Women Leader Zainab Ibrahim as his running mate for the 2027 governorship election. The confirmation came when the APC National Chairman, Professor Inantawe Yilwada, paid a courtesy visit to the governor at the T.Y. Danjuma Government House in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital.
Visit of the All Progressives Congress National Chairman Nentawe Yilwada to Taraba State is to strengthen existing relationship between the state and the national executives of the party. The APC National Chairman used the forum to promote President Tinubu's economic reforms as well as to announce the running mate of Governor Kefas Agbu in 2027, ending months of uncertainty and controversies.
Let me specifically recognize the incoming Deputy Governor of Taraba State. popularly known as Auntie Z. Let me specifically, Your Excellency, thank you for selecting her. Let me thank you specifically for the partnership that you agreed that we should have together to provide medical support across the 3 senatorial zones. That's our partnership between the state government and the National Party executive should be.
In his remark, the governor reconfirmed the Deputy National Women Leader, Zainab Ibrahim, as his running mate for 2027, while insisting on delivering the state to the APC.
Taraba State is your state. Taraba State is APC. What Mr. President has done and the interest he has shown in Taraba cannot be quantified by the vote we're going to give him. So we're going to commandeer votes for neighboring states to ensure that he has all the vote he needs. In Taraba State, we are not contesting election with any party, anybody.
The governor also expressed his appreciation for the establishment of 10 Division of the Nigerian Army in the state, a gesture he believes will be invaluable for the fight against criminalities.
Recently, Mr. President approved the establishment of a Nigerian Army Division to be with the headquarters in Jalingo in Taraba State. These are great things that Mr. President has done to keep the unity and the progress of this country.
This courtesy visit by the APC national chairman was preceded by the inauguration of the state APC secretariat, as well as the Taraba Oasis by the APC national chairman, the governor, and other government officials.
The Nigerian Air Force says it has dealt a significant blow to the Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP following a precision airstrike in Borno State. According to the Nigerian Air Force, 9 ISWAP fighters were killed in the operation, including a senior commander identified as Abu Khalid al-Muhajir. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame, says the strike followed credible intelligence on terrorist movements within the Sambisa forest. The Air Force deployed a remotely piloted aircraft for sustained intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, tracking the fighters as they moved towards a suspected hideout. After confirming the target, the aircraft conducted a precision strike on the location. The Nigerian Air Force says subsequent assessment shows significant impact on the compound, with several fighters neutralized and others wounded. It describes the reported elimination of Abu Khalid al-Muhajir, who allegedly provided security escorts for senior ISWAP members, as a major operational setback for the group. In part 2 after the break, medical geologist Professor Ngabu Kutso attributes occasional Abuja earth tremors to uncontrolled borehole drilling, heavy rock blasting, and rapid infrastructure expansion within the nation's capital. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC extends deadline for parties to upload 2027 governorship and state assembly candidates, moving submission deadline from August the 8th to August the 11th. The APC and Accord party trade fierce accusations over political violence and member intimidation as tension escalates ahead of the Osun governorship election. Medical geologist Professor Ngabu Kutso attributes occasional Abuja earth tremors to uncontrolled borehole drilling, heavy rock blasting, and rapid infrastructure expansion within the nation's capital. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejects Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza plan, insisting Israeli forces will not withdraw until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. The federal government has decried the continued vandalism of public infrastructure, especially bridges, across the country. A Minister of Works, David Umahi, made this known during the stakeholders' engagement and press conference to address service lanes, secondary drainages and assets protection of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway in Lagos. Present at the event was the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who represented the President.
We will also set up Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano superhighway guards. People are digging through our concrete roads just to get reinforcement. Just the other day, we saw in social media, a bridge, is it a Lakija site in Lagos? And I commend the governor seriously. My Minister of Works, we thought it's a bridge because a lot of people sent it to us. By the time we got there, the governor was already there with his team and contractors. He will speak for himself, but he has taken remedial measures and the urgent and immediate one. And we thank him very, very highly, for that. But it's very disheartening to know that these people, the efforts that are put in to destroy national assets, if they put it on labor work in Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, if they put it in all the construction sites of state government and federal government, they will put less effort and they will make more money. So it's devilish, it's wickedness, and it's unacceptable. The president cannot be everywhere, it's not a spirit. The minister cannot be everywhere, governors cannot be everywhere. So we have to come together to protect our national assets.
Today in particular is the day in which we have had extensive stakeholder engagement. He's truly happy with the turnout of events here today. And today we're also doing the flag off of very critical infrastructure in Lagos. The repair work on Eko Bridge, which is one of the oldest bridges that we built after the independence of this country. The repair work on Marine Bridge, which is a strategic bridge that goes to the ports infrastructure of this nation. And of course, to come back on this very important coastal highway, Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And as a government, to acknowledge and to appreciate that even when the issues are not due to the integrity or the stability of the road, that he has come back to say he wants to give additional relief to the citizens and to the stakeholders on this corridor by ensuring that they can construct what is known as slip roads, which are by roads, and to ensure that the drainage connectivity can lead channel on to the Lagos Lagoon.
Still on the issue of vandalism of public infrastructure and national assets across the country, the Lagos State Government is tightening its response to the issue, with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu warning that those responsible for damaging or even stealing components of public assets will indeed face the full weight of the law. The governor gave the warning during an on-the-spot inspection of a vandalized bridge pole at Vin Niger along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway in Amuwo-Dofin local government area.
For commuters using this route along the Lagos-Badagry corridor, a bridge is more than a piece of infrastructure. It's part of a daily journey that connects communities and supports thousands of movements. For others, under the bridge lies an opportunity to get rich by any means possible.
These scavengers have started removing iron from the...
This now viral video shows damage done to the bridge at Vin Niger by vandals, a situation that raises fresh concerns over the safety of public infrastructure and the dangers posed by the theft of critical components. It draws the attention of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who visits the location for an on-the-spot assessment, which reveals that some fittings used to secure the bridge have been removed.
I want to assure Nigerians and Lagosians that the integrities of the bridges are intact. It is a tech compile and it's fully intact. There's nothing that is wrong with the bridges.
The governor describes the act as shameful and unacceptable. He vows that the government will go after those responsible, including persons involved in the buying and selling of stolen public infrastructure materials.
All of those scrupulous people have run away, but they can only run for a while because government will come back and come and deal ruthlessly with the people that will have done this. But for our strategy is not to be announced, but we'll come back, But the bottom line is to assure the residents and the citizens that there's nothing wrong with our bridges. There's nothing wrong with the work that has been done here. It's perfectly in order, but it is unfair and it is a shame that citizens of the country will, I don't want to say ignorantly, but deliberately want to destroy public assets.
From Alabarago to Orile, the governor also assesses the progress of the state's cleanup efforts along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway corridor, part of a broader drive to restore order, protect public assets, and improve the safety of road users.
A medical geologist and the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Nasarawa State University, Professor Ngarbo Kutso, has blamed increasing borehole drilling, rock blasting, and infrastructural growth in the nation's capital as factors responsible for the occurrence of occasional earth tremors experienced in the FCT. Reacting to a recent minor earth tremor that occurred in the territory on Tuesday, August the 4th this year, Professor Kutso, in an exclusive interview with our correspondent, Kumbi Abuluade, called on the government to regulate borehole drilling, mining, and drive more information on the causes of earth tremors among residents. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, had through a press statement disclosed that the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency on August the 4th recorded a minor seismic activity that shook several buildings in some parts of the nation's capital.
I want to inform residents of the FCT that if we all insist on having boreholes in our houses, then we will eventually cause more earth tremors in the FCT. Because if I drill a hole less than 10 meters away from that hole, my neighbor drills another, and we have 100 buildings, and once there is subsidence or sudden sinking because we have bored through the earth and created many empty spaces, whatever will be experienced has shaking, vibration, is the tremor we're trying to describe. You are talking about safety, you can't be mining rocks arbitrarily. Everybody just goes, gets a license, and is blasting on daily basis. Those explosions send shockwaves into the earth crust. We need government to do more by strengthening regulation through infrastructural upgrade over the water sector, over the construction sector, over the mining sector.
All right. So in summary, there's no cause for alarm.
No,
government should do more.
Government should do more. No cause for alarm at the moment, but Abuja is not shrinking. Abuja is expanding.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, says the federal government is determined to eliminate malaria and strengthen domestic financing for healthcare to reduce Nigeria's dependence on external donors. He stated this while receiving the Board of Trustees of Malaria Consortium in Abuja. The delegation visited to congratulate Nigeria on reducing malaria parasite prevalence among children aged 6 to 59 months from 42% in 2010 to 15% in 2025. Professor Pate described the long-standing collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Health's National Malaria Elimination Program and Malaria Consortium as productive, noting that the significant decline in malaria prevalence demonstrates the impact of coordinated interventions. The minister stressed that while Nigeria values the support of development partners, the long-term responsibility for protecting the health of Nigerians rests with the federal, state, and the local governments.
The collaboration between the Malaria Consortium and the Federal Ministry of Health National Malaria Elimination Program has been robust over several years, and we have good results to show for it. The fact that we've gone to 15%, that is the lowest it has been in many, many years, and we hope to intensify that. The federal government is very committed to addressing the needs of Nigerians, and in health, malaria is one of those subjects that whether you're in rural area or urban area, it affects you. Not only in terms of the disease that it causes, but it also presses on households in terms of the cost of care, the out-of-pocket spending that families have to incur, in addition to the productivity losses for out-of-school children, out-of-class teachers, out-of-farm farmers, and many others. So malaria is such a vital interest to our productivity, to our country overall.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejects President Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza plan, insisting Israeli forces will not withdraw until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. To join us again.
Know what's happening across Nigeria's various regions on Channels Television's Newsroom series. Every Monday, we bring you stories from the Southwest. And on Tuesday, the Northwest is our focus. We're in the South-South for midweek reports on Wednesday. And later in the week, the North Central takes center stage. The Southeast gets the spotlight on Fridays. And we close out the week with the Northeast on Saturday. Watch Newsroom series, 3 p.m., Monday to Saturday, only on Channels Television.
Africa is rising, and we are rising with her. Every day there's a new story, a new challenge, a new discovery, and a new victory. For 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, we bring these to you from Abuja to Accra and from Nairobi to Addis. Network Africa connects the dots, giving you a full picture and bringing the continent closer to you. Network Africa, weekdays at 4:30 p.m. only on Channels Television.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10. Nigeria's economy has indeed moved from the crisis management to its consolidation stage, and that's coming from the chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, Mr. Zach Adedeji. Well, speaking on our political program, Sunday Politics, Mr. Adedeji explains that the present administration has been able to touch on all sectors, from monies that could have been disbursed as subsidy to just few Nigerians.
What did we meet? What have we done? And what are the results that we have now? Just imagine that we've not done what we've done. All those numbers you are reading out will have been doubled. Prior to 2023, I told you that we only have refining capacity of 30,000 per day. Today, we have 700,000 refining capacity. Which one is easier? To say wait for Lekki to produce or wait for Amsterdam? This is what he has done because of his courageous decision. Imagine the revenue level that we were then, 12 trillion. Today, we are 28 as of last year, and we are 40. Just multiply it. And you see that effect in what the governor said. And when you talk about common man, I'm not apportioning blame. But who are the closer to this so-called common man? These are state government, and we are giving more to them. And you will know, tell me, in the last 3 years where you've heard that a state government or worker in the state have gone on strike. Look at the minimum wage. At 30, in 3 years, we double it. And not only that, Mr. President give directive that instead of waiting for 5 years, don't do that. Do it in 3 years. So if these are not helping the common man, what do you call helping the common man? If you look at the inflation when we come, look at the GDP, look at the official exchange rate, look at external reserve. It is all an Kumba, cannot even import 2 months. Today, 51, highest in 70 years. This can take 10 months import for Nigeria.
In Adamawa, the State Executive Council has approved a budget envelope of 609.1 billion naira for the 2027 fiscal year. More than half of the proposed budget will go to capital expenditure with the aim of accelerating infrastructure development and improving public service delivery. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Lida Leneke, disclosed this while briefing journalists after the council meeting in Yola.
This is the 12th Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Umaru Fintiri. The governor's arrival marked the start of a closed-door meeting attended by the Deputy Governor, Professor Khaled Tapua George, Secretary to the State Government, Awal Tuku, and Chief of Staff to the Governor, Amos Edgar. At the end of the meeting, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy and all the council members briefed journalists on the decisions reached.
Council considered and approved the 2027 budget envelope. As we know it, that budget envelope is of 609 billion naira for the 2027, 154 million naira, and then the trickles on it, which details will be availed to you as defined by the Adamawa State Medium-Term Expenditure Framework.
Other commissioners also outlined approvals relating to their respective ministries.
Council has approved the environment of 16 billion 594 million 219,000 naira. This from the same 2026 approved budget. By this environment, the budget line of the 2026 approved budget have not changed. This necessitates the fact that there is need for some developmental projects that will touch the lives of the citizenry in the state.
The Deputy President of Council, that's our Excellency, went out together to assess the flooding around Bachure and envelopes, and we have seen the level of the damages and the floods that caused around that area. We caution people not to build on the waterways. We caution our traditional rulers not to be giving out lands without consulting the authorities.
Of the proposed 2027 budget, 45.5% is allocated to recurrent expenditure, while 54.45% will go to capital expenditure. The state government believes that the budget is in line with its medium-term expenditure framework and will support key projects to improve the welfare of residents and sustain development across the state.
Here's some interesting news for those engaged in agriculture. Well, the federal government says it is accelerating plans to revolutionize Nigeria's livestock sector, targeting enhanced food security, job creation, and sustainable economic growth. Speaking during the courtesy visit to Cross River State Governor Basi Otu in Calabar, the Livestock Development Minister, Idi Meha, revealed key projects, including the commissioning of Nigeria's first livestock control post in Mfum, alongside inspections of the Kalachika factory and Obudu Ranch, unveiling plans for a modern abattoir processing 500 heads daily, a specialized dairy center, and expanded fodder production. The minister declared Cross River strategically positioned to become Nigeria's premier livestock production and export hub.
From cattle to poultry, livestock production stands as a cornerstone of Nigeria's agricultural engine, furnishing meat, dairy, employment, and vital revenue for millions nationwide. Unlocking its full potential, however, demands urgent investment in modern ranching techniques, superior animal breeds, advanced veterinary care, and high-grade feed. Driven by the resolve to bolster food security, generate jobs, and position Nigeria as an international export powerhouse, the Minister of Livestock Development arrived in Cross River State to commission the Informed Control Post, the flagship facility among 12 planned across the nation's international borders. Designed to rigorously inspect and certify the health of livestock entering Nigeria, the facility aims to halt animal disease outbreaks in their tracks while strengthening local production. For Cross River, this project promises thousands of new jobs and solidifies its status as the South-South's premier livestock export hub.
The ministry has taken it up to build this health control post and quarantine center to certify the health of animals that are crossing into the country, because transboundary diseases are of significant importance to our economy and the economy of every other nation.
Representing Governor Basio too, Deputy Governor Peter Ode emphasized the state's readiness to forge a strong strategic partnership with the federal ministry to maximize the sector's vast opportunities.
We are making the ranch a 5-star resort where visitors all over the world will be happy to visit the ranch, and we are happy. And we did happy as a state government that you truly told us about the ranch and you are going to visit the ranch.
Reiterating the administration's enthusiasm, the special advisor on livestock development highlighted how the facility will serve as a magnet for private investment and economic empowerment.
Cross River State has just been onboarded into the L-Press program. That's a program that will create jobs, create activity in the livestock sector. The L-Press project, it's a holistic value chain. There'll be opportunities in the livestock sector. And it's more interesting to understand that this minister visit shows that the federal government understands the place of Cross River in the livestock economy.
With shared vision and aligned goals, both the federal and Cross River state governments reaffirms their commitments to driving sustainable agricultural growth, strengthening food security, and creating sustainable employment across the nation.
Also, one more political story where the Association of Yoruba Traditional Leaders in the 19 northern states and the FCT have thrown their weight behind President Bola Tinubu and the armed forces in the fight against insecurity. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the chairman of the association, His Highness Muritala Adeleke, says there's a need for Nigerians to support the military and other security agencies in the fight against insurgency. Now, the association adds that with the efforts of the military, the security situation in the north is far better than what it used to be, as many states are witnessing relative calm.
What bothers people much and what we always talk about in the country is issue of security and poverty. And if you have to be factual in the north, you know that there is a lot of improvement when it comes to issue of security. We cannot start enumerating all, but we can understand what happened recently in Kwara State about the Orire, the Oyo State Orire, how they were recovered from this bandit. Not only that, recently, some few days ago, what happened in both Kwara and Niger State and Borno State, all the people that were rescued. These are things that really don't normally happen before now. And nobody will talk about this. People just talk about that the government, as if the government is not doing anything. We want to appreciate the president for his leadership role in making this thing happen quietly. And we want to tell him that we, the Yorubas in the north, we are fully in support of the president on this issue of security.
And now to the arts. Condition Make Crayfish Bend is a solo exhibition at the Co Gallery in Lagos. This ceramic artist, Ngozi Omeje Zema, uses this show to talk about how people survive and thrive despite the circumstances. We see it on Art Review tonight.
The popular Nigerian pidgin proverb, "Condition make crayfish bend," commonly used to illustrate how circumstances force adaptation, is explored by renowned ceramic artist Ngozi Umeji-Ezema in a solo exhibition at the Co Gallery in Lagos.
This is the second solo exhibition that we've had here of Ngozi at the gallery. We had her earlier exhibition in 2021. So it's very exciting to see this whole new body of work. Ngozi works in ceramics, as you can see throughout all of the sculptures in the exhibition.
Through her artistic prowess, she reflects on this proverb in her craft by creating works of art from fire, clay, coal shells, and leaves, transforming them into vessel-like forms. Each piece is designed to reinforce the exhibition's theme and named after a variety of Igbo proverbs that resonate with her.
I listen to so many idiomatic expressions in my community. And I got to notice that they are expression born out of adaptability, trying to make sense with what is happening in the environment, and also encourage themselves not to give up. And then crayfish, condition makes crayfish bend is not in the derogatory terms, but in a way they have been able to adapt.
The artist explains that the exhibition focuses on the remarkable ability of many Nigerians to adapt, survive, and thrive, despite difficult and often unfair circumstances.
Yeah, looking at the contents, the titles, I want them to also go home with those kind of mindset. At every point in time, you try to is patience. It has to do with living in this world has to do with patience. And when you have all this idiomatic expression guiding you, like it's doing in my community, you'll find a way of keeping hope alive, and then you wouldn't contemplate drastic measures.
It's also inspired by personal experiences relating to identity, family, and womanhood, as well as the burdens many women bear within relationships and society.
Is that I'm a mother and I have children and I have to cope between them, work out and then motherhood, and then certain sacrifice and certain shift in experiences or ways of making sense of how to harness, live in harmony with all that, because I don't want to give up any of them. I love being a mother, and I love practicing, and I also want to work because I have to work to eat.
The exhibition mirrors the reality of many Nigerians who are left with little choice but to embrace adaptation as a strategy for survival, strength, and resilience.
Welcome to Sports News. 10-time champions in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, sadly, are now out of the tournament in Morocco. Miriam Nyaju scored from a free kick to give the indomitable Lionesses a surprise 1-0 quarterfinal victory over the defending champions in Casablanca this evening. Now, the 19-year-old struck after 19 minutes, slamming a rising shot past the outstretched hands of goalkeeper Chamaka Nadozie and into the corner of the net. It was the first goal of the tournament for Nyaju, and it earned Cameroon a semi-final showdown on Wednesday against the host nation Morocco in Rabat and a ticket to the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil. It was Debutants Malawi are also heading to the semi-final and first ever World Cup as they lead the Black Queens of Ghana in the quarter-final tie. Chantel Boye-Loka has put the debutants in a 2-1 lead, with the game heading to added time in the second half. And still talking football, and this time as it concerns the men's team. It was another disappointing defeat for Nigeria in Yamoussoukro, Cote d'Ivoire. This time, the Flying Eagles suffered a heavy defeat to the Young Stallions of Burkina Faso, 4-1 in the final match of this year's WAFU B Under-20 Championship. The 7-time African champions were seeking to retain their trophy, won in Lomé in October 2024, and also the second team from WAFU B zone to join host Ghana in the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations finals next year. Now, the Burkinabés were, however, in the better side in the encounter, dethroning the defending champions and also qualifying for the Under-20 AFCON. The Burkina Faso team had also beaten the Flying Eagles in the group phase by 2-0. To club football, Arsenal returned to the Emirates Stadium for the first time since they were crowned English Premier League champions, but were defeated 3-2 by Borussia Dortmund in the Emirates Cup earlier today. Samuel Inacio opened the scoring with a neat finish before Constantino Carretzas curled in an excellent second. Substitute Ethan Nwaneri pulled one back for Arsenal after some good work from Christos Zolis. Joan Gadou scored a third for Dortmund following a corner before Victor Gyökeres scored the Gunners' second from the penalty spot after Zolis was fouled. A world record holder in the long course, Netanyahu, has rejected US President Donald Trump's 15-point plan for Gaza, warning that no military pull-off will happen until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. This comes weeks after the US President's Board of Peace said last month it had reached an agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and other armed groups in Gaza. Hamas had said handing over its heavy weapons was contingent on Israel ending all forms of aggression and withdrawing its forces from Gaza. And Netanyahu has promised no such withdrawal.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, rejecting Trump's 15-point Gaza roadmap, insists Hamas must surrender all its weapons before Israeli forces withdraw. The roadmap, drawn up by the US-led Board of Peace, sets out a phased process for Hamas and other Palestinian factions to relinquish control of Gaza's government and security apparatus, with weapons ultimately placed under the authority of a Palestinian technocratic administration. Civil administration would pass to the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, while the disarmament process would be linked to a phased Israeli withdrawal, with each stage subject to international verification. At the heart of the dispute is sequencing. Netanyahu insists Hamas must be fully disarmed before any Israeli withdrawal, while Hamas has called for Israeli strikes to stop and troops to begin pulling back as the disarmament process gets underway. Meanwhile, Israel has continued to carry out strikes on Gaza since agreeing to an initial ceasefire in the territory last October.
אנחנו לא נקים פה מדינת טרור פלסטינית שאנחנו יודעים שמכוונת להשמיד את מדינת הלאום היהודי.
Netanyahu's stance is not much different from what he said on Wednesday, only this time it was about Iran. He had told a gathering, President Trump is our greatest friend, the greatest friend we have had in the White House. Israel's existence is not up for negotiation. The reality is that any disarmament and withdrawal of Israeli forces would likely be phased. Netanyahu says is now in discussions with the US officials about how to go forward. The United Nations says about 1.9 million people, that's 90% of Gaza's population, have been displaced in the territory since the war in Gaza started. The war was triggered by the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel on October 7, 2023, in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 others taken hostage. Israel responded to the attack by launching a military campaign in Gaza, during which more than 73,000 people have been killed.
Now, Japan is today remembering 81 years since the U.S. atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At a ceremony attended by Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, she said the importance of fostering a precise understanding of the reality of the atomic bombings across the globe is becoming increasingly vital. We will continue our efforts to pass on the memory of the devastation caused by the use of nuclear weapons by calling upon leaders, both current and future, from around the world to visit the sites of the atomic bombings and witness the reality of the tragedy firsthand. End quote. Now, she later laid flowers and bowed before the memorial at the Nagasaki Peace Park. A bereaved family representative was also seen carrying a bucket of water for the ceremony's water offering, a ritual honoring victims who died desperately seeking water. Those attending observed a minute's silence at 11:02, the moment the atomic bomb exploded over Nagasaki on August the 9th, 1945. The attack killed around 70,000 people by the end of that year, and 3 days after the U.S. atomic bombing of Hiroshima. And the main news again. The nation's electoral umpire, INEC, extended the deadline for parties to upload the 2027 governorship and state assembly candidates, moving the submission deadline from August 8th to August the 11th. And the All Progressives Congress and the Accord Party traded fierce accusations over political violence and member intimidation as tension escalated ahead of the Osun governorship election. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun from everyone here. Do have a good night.